Hi, welcome back to Magnesia with me, Miss Hidari. Well, how are you doing today, guys? Are you in a good condition? Well, hopefully all of you are in a good condition today. So as usual, before we talk about our topic today, let's first review about our previous topic. So yesterday we have talked about WH question. WH question. So we have talked about yes or no question. Yes or no question is the question that requires short answer. Yes or no. And yesterday, we focused on talking about WH question, which is the question that requires long answer. So the form is quite similar with yes or no questions, which is auxiliary, subject, and then verb. But in WH question, we use question word before auxiliary. So the form is question word followed by auxiliary and then subject and then the verb. The question word that are usually used are what, it means apa, it asks about something like object, idea, or names. For example, what is your favorite food? What is your favorite food? So it's asking about an object. What is your favorite food? Apa makanan kesukaanmu? The answer may be, my favorite food is noodles. My favorite food is noodles. Next question word that we usually use is when. When. When is asking about time. When is asking about time. In Indonesia, it means kapan. For example, when do you go to school? When do you go to school? Kapan kamu pergi ke sekolah? The answer may be month, year, or specific time. When do you go to school? I go to school on weekday. I go to school on weekday. Well, that's for the question word when. Next, we have where. Where. Where is the question word that we use to ask about place. So for the example, where do you live? Where do you live? Kamu tinggal di mana? I live in Denpasar. I live in Denpasar. So, question word where is asking for a place, which is in Indonesia means di mana. Next one we have who. Who is the question word that we use to ask about person. Jadi who digunakan untuk menanyakan orang. In Indonesia it means siapa. For the example, who is that girl? Who is that girl? Siapa sih wanita itu? Who is that girl? Next question word we have why. Why is used to ask for a reason. Jadi why digunakan untuk menanyakan alasan. In Indonesia, it means kenapa. For example, why are you here? Why are you here? Kenapa kamu di sini? Why are you here? So, usually when you answer the questions that start with why, you answer it with because. Jadi biasanya ketika kalian menjawab pertanyaan yang diawali why, kalian akan menjawab pertanyaan itu dengan awalan because. Why are you here? Because I want to study. Next one we have how. How means bagaimana. It is used to ask about a way or manner. Jadi dia digunakan untuk menanyakan cara. In Indonesian, it means bagaimana. Atau bisa juga digunakan untuk menanyakan keadaan. How. For example, how are you? How are you? Gimana keadaanmu? I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so these are the 6 question words that we usually found in English. So jadi ini 6 kata tanya yang paling sering digunakan dalam bahasa Inggris. Remember, the pattern is question word and then auxiliary, subject followed by verb. This is the general pattern, jadi ini pattern umumnya. For the more specific pattern, you can rewatch our live last meeting. Jadi untuk spesifiknya lagi, untuk rumus tiap-tiap pertanyaannya, kalian bisa klik lagi link yang kemarin dan tonton kembali. Now, let's move to our topic today. Sekarang mari kita masuk ke topik kita hari ini. Today we're gonna talk about something that is called question tag. Okay, so there are 3 types of question: yes or no question, WH question, and question tag. Question tag is the question, the very short question in the end of a statement. The short question in the end of a statement. Oke, so question tag adalah kata tanya yang sangat singkat yang ada di akhiran pernyataan. So, in bahasa, question tag itu seperti kata tanya singkat banget, seperti kan, bukan, ya kan. Jadi itu yang disebut question tag. In English, question tag is used to ask about confirmation and also agreement. Oke, jadi dalam bahasa Inggris, question tag itu digunakan untuk menanyakan konfirmasi, meminta konfirmasi, or agreement, persetujuan. So, the question tag is formed with a statement and then question. Jadi, question tag itu dibentuk dengan statement and then the question tag. Well, how is the example? Gimana sih contohnya dalam bahasa Inggris? Well, kita punya you like apple, don't you? You like apple, don't you? So, this statement, you like apple, itu adalah pernyataannya, and then the question tag is don't you. You like apple, don't you? Kamu suka apel, kan? Okay, so that is question tag. You see here, the statement is in positive form. Jadi statementnya atau pertanyaannya dalam bentuk positif. And then the question tag adalah dalam bentuk negatif. So, the question tag is used in pair. If the statement is positive, the question must be in negative. And then if the statement is in negative, therefore, the question tag must be positive. Jadi, mereka ada pasangannya. Kalau statementnya positif, question tagnya negatif. Kalau statementnya negatif, berarti question tagnya positif. For example, untuk yang statementnya negatif, kita punya you can't sing. Can you? So this is the negative statement. And then this one is the question tag in positive form. Oke, jadi ini contoh yang statementnya negatif, kemudian kata tanyanya positif. You can't sing. Kamu nggak bisa nyanyi. Can you? Kan? You can't sing. Can you? Well, now let's take a look to the example on your book. Okay, so you can see the table on your screen. Kalian bisa perhatikan tabel yang ada di layar kalian. So as what I have mentioned before, seperti yang udah Miss sampaikan tadi, kalau statementnya atau kalimatnya positif, maka question tag yang digunakan adalah negatif. For example, she's a nurse, isn't she? She's a nurse, isn't she? Dia adalah seorang nurse, kan? Next, if the sentence is in negative, therefore, the question tag must be in positive. Jadi kalau kalimatnya dalam bentuk negatif, maka question tag-nya harus dalam bentuk positif. For example, you don't fast, do you? You don't fast, do you? Kamu tidak puasa, kan? You don't fast, do you? Next, if the sentences has negative words in it, jadi kalau kalimatnya atau statementnya mengandung kata dengan makna negatif, maka dari itu the question tag must be in positive. For example, he never comes back, does he? He never comes back, does he? Well, di statementnya nggak ada kata not, tapi di sana ada kata yang bermakna negatif, yaitu never. Maka dari itu question tag yang digunakan adalah dalam bentuk positif. He never comes back, does he? Next one, if the sentence is using I am, then the question tag must use aren't I. For example, I am brilliant, aren't I? I am brilliant, aren't I? Aku itu jenius, Kan? I am brilliant, aren't I? Next one, if the sentences use I am not. So, the question tag tinggal menggunakan am I, bukan are I. So, for the example, I'm not a kid, am I? I'm not a kid, am I? I'm not a kid, aku bukan anak kecil, am I? Kan? Next, we have let's atau let us yang diikuti oleh verb 1. And then, the question tag must use shall we. For example, let's dance together, shall we? Let's dance together, shall we? Mari kita berdansa, shall we? Next, we have if the sentence is in the form of perintah. Kalau kalimatnya atau pernyataannya dalam bentuk perintah, maka question tag yang digunakan harus menggunakan will. For example, give me a chance, will you? Give me a chance, will you? Beri aku kesempatan. Jadi itu merupakan perintah, kemudian question tag-nya harus menggunakan will you? Next, if the statement or the sentences is in the form of forbidden. Kalau statement atau kalimatnya dalam bentuk forbidden atau larangan, maka question tag yang digunakan juga harus menggunakan will you. For the example, don't blame me, will you? Don't blame me, will you? Jangan salahkan aku, will you? Next one, if the statement use indefinite pronouns. Kalau dalam kalimat tersebut menggunakan indefinite pronoun atau kata ganti yang tidak spesifik, maka dari itu the question tag harus menggunakan they. For example, someone took my book, didn't they? Someone took my book, didn't they? Seseorang ngambil bukuku, kan? Next, if it use indefinite pronoun, but the indefinite pronoun is a non-person, jadi kalau dia menggunakan kata ganti tidak tentu, tapi merujuk pada benda, maka dari itu question tag-nya harus menggunakan it, bukan they. For example, something went wrong, didn't it? Something went wrong, didn't it? So something ini digunakan untuk merujuk pada benda, thing, benda hidup. Benda tidak hidup, maka dari itu kita gunakan pronouns it di question tag-nya. Something went wrong, didn't it? Sesuatu berjalan tidak mulus, kan? Next, if the statement use positive modal, jadi kalau statementnya mengandung modal verb dalam bentuk positif, maka dari itu question tag-nya akan menggunakan modal dalam bentuk negatif. Modal yang digunakan harus sama. For example, she can swim. She can swim, can't she? She can swim, can't she? Next, if the statement use the negative modal, just like the example I write on the board, therefore the question tag must use the positive modal, the same modal. For example, Mark shouldn't come, should he? Mark shouldn't come, should he? Mark harusnya nggak datang, kan? Next, if the statement use this or that, kalau kalimatnya menggunakan this atau that, maka dari itu question tag-nya menggunakan pronouns it. For example, this is yours, isn't it? This is yours, isn't it? Ini punyamu, kan? And then next, if the statement use these or those, which is jamak. Jadi kalau statementnya menggunakan these atau those, and then the pronoun that we use must they. Jadi pronoun yang kita gunakan di question tag-nya harus yang jamak juga, yaitu they. For example, these are your books, aren't they? These are your books, aren't they? Ini semua bukumu, kan? These are your books, aren't they? Next, if the statement is using their and then subject, therefore the question text must also use their. Jadi kalau statementnya mengandung kata there, maka dari itu question tag-nya harus menggunakan there juga. For example, there is water on the floor, isn't there? There is water on the floor. Isn't there? Ada air di lantai, kan? So, karena there-nya menggunakan there is, maka dari itu question tag-nya juga menggunakan is. Well, now let's take a look to the keterangan. Sekarang mari kita lihat, perhatikan keterangan-keterangan yang kita gunakan dalam membuat question tag. So, negative words atau kalimat yang bermakna negatif tapi tidak mengandung kata not, itu adalah kata-kata seperti not, not only, no, neither, never, seldom, rarely, secretly, barely, hardly ever. No or not only itu artinya tidak hanya, and then neither, tidak keduanya, never, tidak pernah, seldom, jarang, rarely, jarang banget, barely, hampir, tidak, hardly ever, jarang banget. Next, for indefinite pronouns atau kata ganti yang tidak spesifik, kata ganti orang yang tidak spesifik atau tidak jelas, is like someone, anyone, somebody, anybody, everyone, no one, everybody, nobody. Jadi dia basically all the indefinite pronouns that ends with one and body. Next, buat indefinite pronoun yang merujuk ke benda yang tidak hidup, itu adalah seperti yang akhirannya thing. Something, everything, anything, nothing. Okay, so we have discussed about indefinite pronouns in our previous meeting. You can check it back. Now let's take a look to the rules in forming a question tag. Sekarang mari perhatikan aturan dalam membentuk question tag. So the first one, if the statement, kalau statement yang mengandung to be, therefore the question tag must use be. Jadi pair-nya harus sama. If the statement use be, the question tag must use be. But remember, if the statement is positive be, therefore the question tag must be negative be. Next, jika kalimat pernyataan menggunakan auxiliary verb, be, do, dan have, ataupun modal, maka dari itu the question tag juga harus menggunakan auxiliary, be, do, dan have, ataupun modal yang sama. And then the next one, if the sentences use main verb, selain linking verb be dan tanpa didampingi auxiliary verb, maka dari itu do, does, did akan digunakan dalam membuat question tag. Jadi kalau kalimatnya dalam bentuk positif, in simple present atau simple past, maka dari itu question tag-nya menggunakan interrogatif dari simple present atau simple past, menyesuaikan dengan statement-nya. Next, jika kalimat berupa larangan atau perintah, maka dia harus diikuti dengan question tag menggunakan will, you. Next, jika kalimatnya menggunakan subjek tidak spesifik, seperti nobody, everybody, no one, everyone, maka dari itu question tag-nya harus menggunakan they. And then, jika kalimat awalnya negatif, question tag-nya harus positif. Sebaliknya, jika statement-nya positif, maka question tag-nya harus negatif. For example, the weather is nice outside today. The weather is nice outside today. Cuaca di luar hari ini bagus. So, kalian perhatikan di sana dia menggunakan to be is. Maka dari itu question tag-nya juga menggunakan is, tapi dalam bentuk negatif. The weather is nice outside today. Isn't it? Isn't it? It itu digunakan berdasarkan subjeknya, yaitu the weather. Next example, we have the clouds aren't coming back. Are they? The clouds aren't coming back. Are they? Awan-awannya nggak akan kembali, kan? So, di statement-nya kita punya the clouds aren't coming back. So, dia menggunakan be, are, yang bentuknya negatif. Aren't. Maka dari itu, the question tag must use the same be in positive form. Question tag-nya harus menggunakan to be yang sama, tapi dalam bentuk negatif. Menjadi are they. Are they. They digunakan karena subjek dari statement-nya itu adalah the clouds, which is plural. The clouds aren't coming back, aren't they? Okay, so that is some rules that we use to talk about to make a question tag. Jadi itu aturan yang kita gunakan dalam membuat question tag. Now let's talk about the intonation. I want you to focus to the whiteboard again. Sekarang mari kita ngomongin tentang intonasinya. Jadi Miss mau kalian untuk fokus ke papan lagi. Jadi seperti yang sudah kita bicarakan tadi, question tag is a short question in the end of a statement. Jadi dia adalah kalimat tanya, kata tanya yang digunakan di akhir pernyataan. It is used to ask for confirmation or agreement. Jadi dia digunakan untuk dua kemungkinan, confirmation and then agreement. Gimana sih bedainnya antara dia asking for confirmation atau agreement? Well, itu bisa diketahui dari intonasi question tag-nya. For example, you like apple, don't you? You like apple, don't you? Jadi, don't you, dia falling intonation. Jadi, intonasinya turun. Maka dari itu, we know that the sentence is asking for confirmation. Jadi, dari intonasi turun question tag-nya itu, kita tahu bahwa kalimat itu menanyakan konfirmasi. Jadi, sebenarnya kita udah tahu kalau dia itu suka, hanya kita mau memastikan lagi. You like apple, don't you? Kamu suka apple, kan? And then, what if it's asks about agreement? Gimana kalau dia menanyakan persetujuan atau agreement? Dia akan jadi, you like apple, don't you? You like apple, don't you? So, the intonation will rise. Jadi, intonasi question tag-nya bakal naik di akhir. You like apple, don't you? Kamu suka apple, kan? Well, if the tone of the question tag is rising, kalau intonasi dari question tag-nya itu naik, maka it is asking for agreement. Dia meminta persetujuan. So basically, the speaker doesn't know whether you like apple or not. Jadi pembicaranya itu nggak tahu sebenarnya kamu itu suka apple atau tidak. Makanya dia perlu agreement. You like apple, don't you? And then, you like apple, don't you? So, there's a different intonation. Jadi sana ada perbedaan intonasi. Mari kita coba dengan question tag kita yang kedua. You can't sing. Can you? You can't sing. Can you? So, the tone of the question tag is rising. Therefore, that statement is asking for agreement. Jadi kalimat yang tadi itu menanyakan tentang agreement. So, now let's say it with asking for confirmation. Sekarang mari kita baca dengan cara menanyakan konfirmasi. So, dia akan menjadi, you can't sing, can you? You can't sing, can you? Kamu nggak bisa nyanyi, kan? So, that one is asking for confirmation. Karena question tag-nya falling intonation. Karena intonasi dari question tag-nya turun. So, that is all about question tag. Jadi, itu aja mengenai question tag. If you guys have any question about question tag, you can take a note. Kalian bisa catat di catatan kalian, and then you can ask it when you have offline class later. Dan bisa kalian tanyakan langsung ketika nanti kalian punya kelas offline. So, as the homework for you, sebagai PR buat kalian, you can try to make your own question tag. Jadi coba buat question tag kalian sendiri. So that's all from me for today. Thank you so much for joining this live streaming. I can't wait to see you next meeting. Bye!